I need a haircut. Whatever. The Pixel 6 has an excellent camera. I want to talk to you a little bit about the clips that I've taken so far with it. Remember, it's Maddie's phone, so I don't get to play with it all the time. I can only tell you my experience with the clips that I've taken so far. Using the stock camera app, it's excellent footage. Honestly, it rivals my iPhone 8. I haven't bought anything higher than an iPhone 8 because I don't like spending $1,000 on a phone. That Sony Xperia phone makes me want to spend $1,000 on a phone, but so far I've been conservative. iPhone 8's good enough for me, so I'm trying not to spend a bunch of money on phones every year. I'm getting off on a tangent. The Pixel 6 has an excellent camera. What I've noticed in the stock camera app on the Pixel 6 is that the ISO jumps, especially when your subject is backlit. It's trying to compensate for exposure, but it really doesn't look like the exposure is changing. But the noise in the picture drastically changes from being reasonable to unusable. You can always get the Filmic Pro app and control the ISO on the Pixel 6, and that footage really does look good. What I noticed in the Filmic Pro app that is a disadvantage is the stabilization is just not like the stock camera app on the Pixel 6. The stabilization in the stock app is really good. The active stabilization, especially if you're moving around a lot, looks pretty bad because for some reason the shutter speed isn't being cranked up. It makes your face look really blurry. Active stabilization is moving the image around the sensor. There's some motion blur on the subject. Shutter speed needs to be cranked up a little bit in order to get that active stabilization up to par. But honestly, it's really good. And I really think Google has done a fantastic job with the Pixel 6 camera. I would say it rivals the iPhone 8 camera quality. I can't speak to the higher iPhones. I don't want to lie to you and say it's as good as the iPhone 13 Pro Max Ultra S E Plus Max, whatever those people are calling it. Anyway, the Pixel 6 has two sensors, the main sensor and the ultra wide lens sensor. The main sensor is 50 megapixels and you can 2x crop that in the stock camera app. You can also 2x crop that in the Filmic Pro app. And what that enables you to do is you can still get a 4K image because 4K is only 8-ish megapixels. You crop in on 50 megapixels 2 times, you're still getting somewhere in the neighborhood of like 18-ish, 16-ish megapixels. Don't quote me on that. I'm not good with math, but it is an excellent zoomed in image on the main sensor 2x crop. When you zoom back out, still an excellent image. The bokeh is surprisingly good on this Pixel 6. Just real bokeh, just natural bokeh. I was really impressed with how smooth it looked for a phone. The sensor has to be massive in order to get that good a bokeh. So I was really impressed with that. You know, I have an iPhone 8, so maybe I'm just not used to these newer phones having such large sensors and having such good bokeh, but I was really impressed. Normally on a phone, you see just everything in focus. I was impressed with that. You zoom back out to the ultra wide sensor. Of course, everything's in focus because of the focal length and not giving you as narrow a depth of field. I really like the ultra wide lens. It looks so good, so crispy. Flip on over to the selfie lens and it's still a good image. Like, it's a usable image. I could vlog with that, that's fine. Even in the stock camera app, it's a very usable image. Unfortunately, with the Filmic Pro app, you can't really vlog with the Filmic Pro app. One, I had autofocus issues where you have to select an autofocus area, but if you're flipping around the phone, use the main sensor, you can't see if your face is in the autofocus area that you selected in the Filmic Pro app. If you drift around the frame, it may focus on something behind you, and that's what I really did notice. It's not so bad with the ultra wide sensor because everything's in focus anyway. You really notice it on the main sensor, that natural bokeh that I was talking to you about, yeah, it's noticeable on that sensor. Bokeh can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing when your autofocus isn't on par. Vlogging with the stock camera app on the Pixel 6 was really good. Even flipping the camera around so you can use the main sensor or the ultra wide sensor, yeah. The stock camera app actually gives you a really usable image. And the audio quality out of this Tensor Chip Google has made, it's literally processing the audio on the phone using AI, deep learning, robots are taking over, whatever. The audio just sounds so focused and it pushes the background back, but doesn't completely eliminate it, kind of like Adobe Audition noise suppression. You crank it up too much and it sounds like you're underwater. Google Pixel 6 just brings the background noises just back far enough to focus your voice, so the audio is super usable and the background noises aren't distracting, but they're there so you give yourself context as to where you're at. The audio is just absolutely phenomenal in the Pixel 6. That's something I'd really like to brag about. You guys have to hear the audio.
I really love the new connection between the Google Pixel 6 and my Fossil watch. I think this is a great aspect and a great update that has really helped.
When you flip the camera over to the selfie side, there's an audio focus mode that you can activate in Filmic Pro app or in the stock camera app, and that audio sounds freaking amazing. Just, I don't know why they don't have that on both sides if you're using the main sensor or if you're using the selfie sensor, but when you flip it around to the selfie camera, the audio is just so in your face. Like the background is pushed so far back. There is a speech enhancement option on the front facing sensor, so let's just test the audio quality in this clip. How does my voice sound with all these cars going by? And I say that and then no cars go by. Well, oh well. It's called like vocal focus or audio focus or whatever in the stock camera app, and it is very good. So you could totally vlog with the Pixel 6 and people would be like, oh my gosh, your iPhone looks so amazing, and you're like, nah, it's not an iPhone, it's actually an Android. Boom, gotcha. I really like it. I'm excited about the Pixel 6. I want to share it with you guys. Tell me what you think about the footage that I showed you. Obviously, YouTube compression is going to make it kind of weird. Kind of got to go with the flow. And I don't know. Just tell me what you think. Is it usable footage? Would you vlog with the Pixel 6? With the Pixel 6, plug it into the editing computer, pull the files off. It's USB-C, so it's super fast, 10 gigabits per second or 5 gigabits per second. So it's just like, I was done within 5 minutes. I had all the footage off the Pixel 6 that I wanted, unplugged it and gave it back to Maddie. And I was like, hey, I thought that was gonna take all night like it does on the iPhone, but it didn't. It was like 5 minutes, so you can have your phone back. Pixel 6 is so much better than iPhone, and I want to be an Android user. Razz me down in the comments, tell me how I'm stupid and I should just go ahead and buy an Android phone. I really want the Sony Xperia 5 Mark III with that telephoto lens, the 135mm that can snap back to 70mm. Ooh, plus it has that ultra wide lens. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Now I'm just ranting. I'll see you guys later.